Welcome to the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by the funny Womax and Friends. If you're looking to get more out of your Shenandoah Valley experience, then this is the podcast for you. You'll meet interesting people, musicians, and comedians that perform here and find out more about what you can do and see. Whether you live here or plan to visit, listen to explore what makes our unique slice of heaven. Now here's your host, Dawn Davis Womack.
Hello, Laughers. Can you believe we've dropped a new episode every week for 4 years straight? It has been quite a ride and such a joy to learn from so many amazing guests across the Shenandoah Valley and beyond. And now as my life and comedy journey continue to evolve, so will this show. And we're going to lean more into the laughs, life leaps, and real stories behind the scenes. Today's episode is one of those bridges between where we've been and where we're going. Thanks for being a part of the ride, Laughers. I appreciate y'all so much. Now, let's talk about today's guest because this man is funny, and I'm so glad to have him back. Lamont FERG Ferguson is a Detroit native, now based here in Virginia. He's an award-winning comedian, actor, and writer who's lit up the stage at festivals, indie films, and alongside comedy legends like Charlie Murphy, Tony Woods, and Cat Williams. You may have seen him on Peacock, Apple TV, Showtime, and Tubi also. And you can catch him live headlining at the new comedy club at Massanutten Resort on June 26th. Welcome back to the show, Ferg. It's great to have you on today.
What's happening? I was like, man, she forgot one thing.
What's that?
You see me at the 7-Eleven. You haven't seen me at the 7-Eleven with the scratch-off tickets?
or the Slurpees? They still do those, right?
On Friday, they get a free Slurpee. That's why I got to keep this covered like this. That one pack. Now, see, somebody decided to cut their grass. I think they knew that I was about to do this in the backyard. And like, I got stuff going on inside of my house. I got stuff out. I think that's my neighbor across that way. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, across that way. Yeah. But no, it's good to be here on the show. I'm outdoors right now because there's a lot of things going on in my house. It's not because my kids and my wife kicked me out, but we got contractor work, and that's my story. I'm going to stick to it.
All right. We'll believe that then for for today.
I'm not actually in the doghouse. I'm next to the doghouse.
Thanks for clarifying that for our Laughers, Lamont. I really appreciate that. And before we get into this interview, I just want to tell you, Laughers, we're so excited that we've been accepted into the Audible Creator Program, which means that you get a free audiobook where you don't have to listen to me every week. You could just hit that link in the show notes, grab that free audiobook. And if you sign up for a free trial, then we get a little bit of a kickback to help this show continue to grow and bring more and more Laughers into the fold and into our family. So appreciate y'all, and let's go. My first question actually is, when I was preparing for today's interview, I wasn't aware, and maybe I imagine you may be, that there is another comedian by the name of Lamont Ferguson.
Lamont Ferguson. He lives out L.A.
Yeah.
Before COVID, I tried to link up with so we could try to do a Lamont Squared show.
Oh yeah.
But the worlds didn't line up too much. Instead the world shut down.
Yes. So it didn't line up at all.
It didn't line up with nobody. It was just like, it's not happening. Hopefully that wasn't my fault, y'all. Hopefully that wasn't my fault. That, the great Lamont Ferguson Squared show. And he was down for it. It was, maybe sometime in the near future, hopefully that'll be able to work out.
Yeah, that would be really great. We have another comedian in the area out of Fredericksburg. His name is Chris Porter. And there is another Chris Porter comedian. So this seems to be happening a little bit, at least.
Yeah, doppelgangers going on.
Yeah. And he did get to do a show with the other Chris Porter. So I say we should make the Lamont Ferguson Squared show happen. That's what I say.
Yes, we ought to do that.
So the other Lamont Ferguson. Yeah, if you're listening, Lamont, we can help make that happen.
Let's make it happen. I definitely appreciate that.
Yes, I want to see that show for sure. And it's been a while since you've been on the podcast. And you've been on our stages before, but I think it's been at least a couple of years since you've been here, right?
Yes, yeah. It's been a while. You know, I think I've gotten a little tall. I've grown a little bit, but not in the way we've all want to. It's been growing out this way, and I'm trying to hide that growth.
Trying to hide the one pack you were telling me about before we press record.
It actually collapsed, you know. It was sort of like the housing market of 2008. It collapsed. I don't know what happened.
You can still get better every day and change that if you want, Lamont.
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
I just got to get on my procrastination.
I know. It's easier to eat the donuts, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. You know, the only thing that's in my way of my diet is regular fruits and vegetables. I can get candy and cakes anytime. But, you know, we'll see what happens.
All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens between now when you come on June 26th to see if there's been any improvement. I'm gonna have to have an ongoing clip of me working out. See, now I got these flies are flying. I got little gnats flying in my eyes, telling me to stop lying. So I guess I'm not going to be working out anytime soon. These gnats keep flying in my face. Keeping you real. That's a good thing.
Keeping me real.
Yeah. So what's been happening though in your comedy career since you last been here? Because I know things have been happening.
Yeah, I've been producing some comedy shows here in the local area. At the venue 757. It's a great venue, event space and whatnot. I've been doing plays. I've been involved in quite a few short films, actually some independent films as well. One actually is going to be premiering Juneteenth weekend, which is going to be at the Black Film Festival with Clifton Powell, Lowback. It's an action movie, and I actually got to play a detective.
Really?
Not a detective, an FBI agent that gets to arrest the big guy. So it's been a lot going on. I've been getting some work as far as stage-wise in and out of the area. So I've been trying to work hard, as always.
Yeah, as always. And indeed you do. And you've worked with legends like Cat Williams and Charlie Murphy, for example.
Yes.
What kind of lessons or wisdom did you learn from them or that they shared with you, or both?
Actually, there was one guy that's not on that list because I didn't work with him, but Crawford, Lavelle Crawford. Mm-hmm. And this was several years ago, and I probably like 3 years in. I've been doing comedy 12 years, so about 3 years in, I was at an event where he was at. It was a fundraising event here in the Norfolk area, and I asked him. I said, "What kind of advice would you give an up-and-coming comedian like myself?" And his words, but I'm not gonna curse. He said, "I ain't gonna tell. I ain't got for you. I ain't got for you." And I was like, "Whoa!" But he was nice about it. But he was like, "I know you looked at me the way I said that," but he said the ultimate message to that is everybody have their own journey. So, he came from the Comic View Def Comedy Jam days. So his journey is a lot different from my journey. So I don't know what this means. I guess that means journey. Like,
He's doing a visual where he's lifting his arms up for those listening to the audio version.
Oh, yes, yeah. Lifting it up. But he's right. Everybody's journey is different. So that was his biggest advice. He said everybody's journey is different. So he can't really tell me how things went for him because it's not the same way as I would go about it. And then far as working with Charlie Murphy, he just I actually opened up for him at the Funny Bone, and he liked giving up and coming comics time on stage, to open up, just to give them, an audience to work for and stuff like that. To work with, So But I've learned a lot during this 12 years. There's a lot of ups and downs, some highs and lows or whatnot. The only time, actually, this is an interesting story here. I actually was year 2. I was able to work with Cat Williams. Understand this. Our styles are those definitely not in the same category as
the salaries aren't.
Yeah, the salaries aren't. The language isn't. None of it. But that was like the biggest stage that I actually struggled with. I was so hurt. But my dad was like, at least you can say you worked with this person in year 2, and he pretty much told me, like, if you're already at that level in 2 years of doing comedy, there's more greater things to come. Those are the words from my pops. I was so hurt though. So, but look where I'm at. I'm still, going at it 12 years later. I'm still grinding away and doing quite a few other things as well.
Yeah, you're multi-talented, which I love.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And it's good to see you exercising your creative muscles and your funny muscles in other formats like acting and film directing, and it's going great. It's fun to watch you from afar. And Laffers is out of like the Virginia Beach area. So how far away is that from Massanutten Resort? It's 3-ish or so hours, I think.
About 3.5. 3.5.
Yeah.
3 hours and 31 minutes and 54 seconds.
To all the big laughs, come to the top of the mountain at Massanutten Resort.
Yeah. I think if I ever heard somebody give me an exact time frame for a travel or a trip, I would be worried. It's exactly 3 hours, 21 minutes and 54 seconds to get there when you pull up. That's from the time you get into the parking lot. Like, what, really? I'm scared. I don't think I want to go now. You count my minutes. Yeah, too detailed.
What do they know? We don't know. I don't know.
But definitely looking forward to it, though.
Me too. And you've performed in front of some unique audiences, from troops to politicians, in different environments, both large and small, and everything in between. How do you personally tailor your set for different crowds, or do you?
Well, I learned how to read the room early in the game. Like I said, just like the Cat Williams, where I struggle with. I got a couple boos, but I didn't.
That was 2 years in.
Yeah, 2 years. But see, the lesson I learned was read your audience, pay attention to your audience, and respond according to your audience. Because if your audience is not, what should I say, following along where you're going, you got to learn how to say, get up out of that and go somewhere else. You know what I mean? That's why it's very important to have a lot of material for you to change gears without your audience knowing that you changed gears.
Right.
And so you don't want them to be like, oh, wait, why are we talking about this now? He was talking about... No, you got to learn how to read your audience. And actually, like I said, from that point, I've learned to read my audience and not be afraid of who I am when I'm on the stage. I know, like, it took me about 3 or 4 years, believe it or not, for the audio only, I am African American. So, but because of my comedy is so middle America outside of the box comedy, it took me a while to do an urban role because I wasn't comfortable at that time. With my comedy, but now I've gotten to that point where, like 4 years in, I started going into those rooms of not being afraid of the response. And then that's what made me more comfortable and made my audiences like who I am. My comedy is like a Seinfeld-ish, outside the box, type of humor. I actually remember a situation. I was at the Funny Bone. There was a guest, the Clash of the Comics, And as I was starting this is probably like year 5. And as I was starting my set, the guy was like, "Oh man, I don't like this guy." It was a black guy,
Oh my
and
goodness.
I literally saw the evolution of the 5 minutes in that set, because in the middle, the guy was like, "Oh yeah, okay," and before I was done, he was laughing, and
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so when we was out in the little area, by the, on the way out or whatnot, the guy made a beeline to me. He was like, "Hey man, I really enjoyed your set. Where can I find you at?" And this, that, and the third. And I was actually able to get work from him.
That's great.
Yeah. So, and that really boosts my confidence. Excuse me, I feel like I'm a cow. I'm fanning gnats.
Waving all the gnats away.
Yeah. But that gave me that next level of confidence. And Seinfeld, I read in his book, he said, remember, no matter how many minutes you're doing, whether it's 3, 5, 15, 30 an hour, you're the entertainment for that moment. You are the headline. You are the headliner of that section for the moment, and it is your job to entertain, the people that's in front of you. I'm kind of paraphrasing, so don't go. I didn't see that. In the book. So as you hear my killer Jack Russell out here, I don't know if you can hear him or not.
I can't actually hear him. I do want to break that. I want to break that down a little bit. I know what you mean by an urban room, but we have listeners from all over the world. They may not even understand what you mean by urban room. So educate us on that.
Let's just cut to the chase. A black room. All right. It's an all black folk room, and an all black folk room mean they want, and it's a lane for all of it. It's a lane for all of it. And a lot of the black rooms, they don't really take time to sophisticate. I shouldn't say sophisticate. Outside of the box. Outside of the box comedy, they want the hyper. It's a whole different form that particular room they're looking for. Mm-hmm. And being so that I'm so outside of the box, Seinfeld. I can't even go Dave Chappelle type. That's why it took me so long to get comfortable in those rooms, because I was so afraid to. As a comic, you have to go through the struggle. Mm-hmm. So anytime somebody tells me, whether they knew or old, I ain't never had any bad times. No, you're telling the story, because
you got some stories if you're doing stand-up comedy. That is for sure. Yeah.
Dude, I ain't never struggled and whatever. I don't believe you, but and I love it because comedy is not like music, and what I mean is if somebody see a group playing, even if the lead singer is horrible, they're going to still vibe to the music. Mm-hmm. And they're going to say, "Oh yeah, the music was all right." But if you're a comic, you don't get that. It's either are you good or you're not. And if you say, "Yeah, he was okay," an urban room will, like, somebody say he's okay, that means he ain't good at all. You know what I mean? So, but with comedy, I mean, it's just that you can do 2 shows in one day, do the exact same material, and it will work at one show, and then it won't work at the next. You got to read the room, because that next group of people, they're going to vibe to something totally different than with the first group of people did.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, we've run into that. We have run into that too, and then reading the room becomes so paramount. And I think also letting go of your original plan in the event that you read the room and it's not what you planned. It's okay.
Right.
Just roll with it, and it'll be fine. Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, you're going to make some. It's not going to be. You're going to make some adjustment. It may not be a major adjustment. Mm-hmm. It may, let's say, if you're doing political humor and you're like, "Man, I got this good Trump joke." And you go in there and everybody got their 45 hats. And you're like, do I want to tell this now or not? But it also depends on how you're telling that joke.
That's right. I agree 100%.
So if you
Because
go in
you
that
can
room,
make both sides of the aisle laugh. You can
yes,
indeed. Yeah.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
so if you go in there now, if you're going in there bashing the candidate, whether it's Republican, Independent, or Democrat, if you bash them, that's when you're gonna have the issue. But if you're going in cleverly, comparing this party to that party, or comparing them to one thing or another,
Yes.
then you have an opportunity to reach that audience where they like, oh, okay, yeah, he's not bashing nobody. So that goes back to that. You got to read the room. So you will make those adjustments, and then just don't put it at the front of it, middle, earn the plus of of that audience. Then now you can say, all right, now I can slide this in here.
Yeah.
Whereas another audience, you can like, oh, you know what? I can do this first instead of the second. So it's all about, reading the room. That's why I really love, because it's always changing.
It is. And we're learning to lean into crowd work more as well. I've noticed you do that, some crowd work, and getting people involved. How much do you like the crowd work? Does it feel like it comes natural to you? Was it an evolution?
Actually, it was an evolution.
Yeah.
And I love writing to talk to the audience.
It's fun.
Because,
yes,
and I noticed, and I pay attention because I watch a lot of comedy, because you got to do comedy, so I study the art. Imagine.
Study it.
But I noticed the reactions versus, like, if a person, like, even if I'm live there watching other comedians do their thing, whatnot, watch a person come up there and immediately go into their set versus somebody that's talking to the audience, not bashing the audience, talking to the audience. There's a situation where the audience appears to be more relaxed because you're getting them involved and not bashing them. But excuse me, there go Nat again. He came back.
He likes
but
you.
You're not. I hope it's not he like me. I'm just saying. Not wrong with. I'm just saying that's just not.
It's just not the way you roll. That's all.
That's not. So when you're able to have the room relaxed, you can do more and have more fun with your audience instead of just going at it. Hey, I woke up one day and I saw a goldfish on my dresser, and guess what his name was? Oscar. Wait, what? But that might be your style. So
that's important.
I just
too.
like the So I just like the conversation with the audience, and they get to, like I said, relax. I'm like, especially if they don't normally go to comedy shows, and they always feel that comedians always bashing the audience, so that's why they don't want to sit up front. It helps change that narrative that all comedians don't talk about the audience.
That's true. And you do see that. We'll see people, some people will avoid the front row because they feel like they might get bashed based on a previous experience. And I'll find myself going, well, yeah, we will talk to the audience, but it's not like that. It's a total different vibe. So, and then they'll take some of them will take a chance and then tell us afterwards, you were right. That was a lot of fun.
Because there's some questions I will ask. And I'm not going to tell y'all got to come and come and see the show. You'll see what I'm talking about. And they will give me responses. And those who didn't give me a response after the show, they always say, man, I have my response ready for you if you would have came to me. So I can't tell you what I was going to say, but listen, just come and you'll be able to enjoy it.
I love it. And you are also an actor. Did the acting come before the stand-up or vice versa?
Acting came first because I'm kind of dating myself because I actually thought I wanted to be a lawyer because I used to watch Matlock.
Okay.
And I used to I used to like the way he solved the crimes. I used to watch Murder, She Wrote with my grandmother. So I used to think I want to be a lawyer or some type of crime solver. And then I actually started seeing the behind the scenes, and oh, as an actor, you could become whoever you want to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I started falling in love with the acting side. And, I took up some behind the scenes stuff in my 11th grade, 12th grade year. Then once I went to college, I did plays there moving forward. So I really I love the craft of acting. You were able to have a chance to be someone else without being diagnosed schizophrenic. I'm not saying anything wrong with people. I'm just saying. I don't want nobody like, oh, no. I'm just saying. I mean, it's and it actually creates when you watch stuff and when you read, and it just creates another level, especially for comedy. Actually, and it makes you more comfortable too because I do a lot of theater, and with theater you have to be big, with television you can bring it in some because of the mics and all that. So I like it. I just also think I love entertainment. Period. But acting is my first love, and comedy is my side chick. I mean,
your side
I love
piece.
comedy. My side piece. I'm gonna treat you right. I promise.
What prompted the leading to go do stand-up comedy? And remind me what your story is. Did you take a class? Did you do an open mic? What was your first?
Well, I did an open mic in 12th grade, and it was real hackish because I was watching a lot of Comic View and Def Jam, so I was literally repeating those jokes, and people were like, "What? And I didn't like it. I didn't like that feeling, and so I literally got away from it. But in college, I got back to. I did some sketch comedy, I won't say sketch comedy because it's completely different world. We did a lot of skits, for our talent shows and stuff like that. Fast forward, I started to fall in love with comedy again. Started listening to a lot of Mitch Hedberg. And I was like, man, I really love this. I really need to get back into it. And I took a couple of classes or whatever. And then somebody told me, V.D. Barnes, I'll never forget, he said, you can take all the classes you want to, but the only way to really get into comedy is hop on an open mic and find your way. That's the best way. Comedy classes are great. Yeah. Because they help network with other comedians and things of that nature. But the main teacher is the experience on the stage.
That's right.
I think workshops are great because if you work a 9 to 5, a regular job, they send you to workshops. You get what I'm saying? Even teachers, they got workshops. They don't be like, man, I know how to teach. I got my degree. Why I got to do a workshop? I mean, I work with I work at an independent living program for at-risk youth 17 to 20. And we have workshops. I don't tell them, look, I'm the assistant director. I don't need to know anything else. Then they be like, well, okay, well, then you bye. We don't need you then. But you always workshops, just, those things help. Reading helps, whether you're reading a physical book or listening to an audio book. Plug. You can learn a lot, but I say with comedy and anything you do, just stay immersed in the field, even if you're not on stage. Don't just think, only time I think about comedy or acting is when I'm on stage. No, you gotta take it in. You gotta study it.
Reps is definitely very important. We preach that in our comedy classes all the time. This is your beginning. Absolutely. But if you want to get somewhere doing this, then you want to get into the open mics because reps is what the most important and fastest way that you can grow. Not to mention the connections you'll make at open mics with other comedians and building relationships.
I've gotten work at open mic.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
same here. Yeah.
So take it serious. When you're on that mic, take it serious. I'd like to add this if I can. Well, be careful of your image.
Mm.
And when I say that, every open mic is not conducive to your image.
Mm.
So, like I said, there's a lane for all of it. Now, if you want to be known as an edgy comedian, show up in those type of rooms or do those type of showcases. That's fine. That's how you build up your skill set, your reps. But if that's not what you want to be seen on stage, and then you see on a showcase with all these people, going to get confused. And then sometimes it don't take much. Well, I thought you was pretty much clean, but I saw you on this raunchy flyer. All the people, you get what I'm saying? So just know which, in the beginning, you may do all those roles, but you want to find your voice, find your lane, and arrive in it. Quincy Carr, I know you know Quincy, right?
Yeah, I do know him. We have talked. I haven't met him in person yet, but yes.
But he told me many years ago, him, David Logan, they both told me, you have to dress to your, let me say this, dress the part. So if I'm, clean cat, I'm talking about, family and oriented and stuff like that, I'm not going to come on stage with baggy jeans my pants hanging down with a baseball cap tied to the side. Just like what I have now, or, hopefully the one pack moments. Dress the part. So people will believe you. Like, so you see me, I have on a polo, maybe some khakis or whatever. But then I get on stage, I'm talking about smoking weed. Like I said, it's a lane for all of it. But if I'm talking about, the women and the drinking and the these and all that, it don't match. So
who you are. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to match who you are and make it believable. That's all I'm saying. It will make sense. It will make sense.
As you go. Yeah. And there's a couple of notes in there I would like to add. So on the dirty, quote unquote, shows or more raunchy shows, you'll find clean comics on there. They're just not doing the dirty or more raunchy material. So you could go to a rated R show and see a clean comedian on there. Or our shows are clean to PG-13. So we do work with several comics that will work in the R-rated arena and then come do a cleaner set for us. And that gives it'll give them another tool in their toolbox. So if they get a request to do a cleaner or clean show, then they can develop the ability to do that and expand their income potential and contact base. So it's really all about what you want to do with yourself and your career in terms of which choices you want to make, because there's validity in doing that as well. Right.
Yeah. And that goes with great point. And that goes with knowing who you are at the end of the day. So if somebody even questions that, well, yeah, I did it, but, my set was still clean. You get what I'm saying? And when we say clean, there's adult clean, there's family clean. So that's why I love comedy. There's so many lanes.
There's so many lanes. Yeah.
And it's not a wrong lane. It's just finding who you are. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I really, really love comedy. You just got to find who you are and find that lane that you want to roll down, and people believe you and come to your shows and then enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's it's subjective too, comedy, right? There's some people that just really all they want is the raunchy rated R comedy. Yeah. That's what they're all about. And then they enjoy it. And some want the super, super, super clean, zero cuss words whatsoever. And that makes them super happy. And that's what they enjoy. And then there's people that like the sweet spot in the middle or can go either way because they just love all kinds of comedy. So really just even as a viewer and ticket buyer, finding the comedy that you really enjoy and feeds you joy and feeds you, that's a lane for also the audience to find.
Cool. Yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I know. And isn't it so funny, the subjective differences of what clean comedy means to people? And also, I have learned what dirty comedy means to people has different definitions as well.
I've actually had somebody ask me, actually, I posted about this a while ago. I'm probably have to repost this. I had somebody ask me, do I do clean Christian comedy? Wait, what do you mean? Clean? Wait, is there dirty Christian comedy? I'm like, wow.
Maybe. I didn't know there was.
I was like, wait, what? Clean Christian comedy? Come on, get out of here. But I want to say people don't know. And that's the interesting part about the clean comedy, because you can do adult clean, meaning you can still tell the raunchy jokes, but they cleaned up. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You can take them to the edge type clean without even using any curse words. Or like you said, you have to be, or the cruise ship clean in the morning, the daytime, where you can't ride the line. You can't go to the water. You know what I mean? You got to, it has to be clean. There can't be anything insinuating any sex, you have to be clean. So it's very, very important for people to understand that. Because I've seen people, I've heard people like, I went to that show, they said it was a clean show, but they said this. But I mean, if it's adult humor, it still can be clean. Mm-hmm. It's just about how you tell that story. Or not just tell that story, tell your story. Because to me, the best comedy is pretty much stuff that actually happened to you. Mm-hmm. And, that's what comedy is. I learned from Fat Doctor. Well, he's passed, but he was a comedian out of D.C., which Dave Chappelle came under him. Actually, he worked workshop Dave Chappelle, Martin Lawrence, I believe Tony Woods, quite a few DC comics. And he said exaggeration plus simplification equals comedy.
That's a great definition.
So if you understand that setup there, you could tell any joke, whether clean, dirty, or indifferent, as long as you tell it in that setup, it should work. Everything don't work. It flops, of course. You got to work it out. But if you know the method to writing, because the example he used, like if you see somebody slip on a banana and hurt themselves, it's not funny, right? But if you see somebody slip on a banana and they stumble over to the trash can and a car comes by and splash them with water, and then they walk in, they bump into something, that's what makes it funny, because that's the exaggerated part. So simplification plus exaggeration equals comedy. And I've always lived by that rule there. So any story that happened, I'll take it, and
Same here. A lot of our comedy is
I'll run. You got to protect people.
Yeah.
You got to change people's names just so they won't be mad at you.
And I can't say
what
that
are you talking about, man?
Can't say I haven't done that too. Just protect identities.
I think we all have,
Yeah.
But I've also seen comedians have regular jokes that they tell. I can't think of his name right now, but it was a comedian in Atlanta. He used to tell these jokes, and he would get to the part where he said, "But the moral of the story is," and it'll be something totally different than what you think.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can't think. Craig.
A nice misdirect. Yeah.
Yeah, he would always do that. And he was hilarious. He was never one that was underrated. So, there's a lot of comedians. And the thing is, we have a lot of comedians out here.
Yeah,
we have a lot of comedians, and some get the shine, some don't. Tony Woods is one. He's been in comedy for many years, and he don't really get the shine He's out of DC, just like Dave Chappelle. But people, you say Tony Woods, who? Say Dave Chappelle. Oh yeah, So that's another reason why I like comedy, because there's so many different versions of what you can hear, and also there's things that you're like, come on. You did that one.
Not my favorite, but okay.
Yeah. Okay. Next,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
I think.
But
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, but one of my favorite one-liner comedians was Mitch Hedberg.
Oh yeah. King of the one-liners.
His misdirections was always on fire.
So incredible, so quick, so fast, so creative, so clever, just all the things. He's actually one of the household name comics that we will show some footage of in our comedy classes when we're talking about Mr. X. And we will use him as an example for that, because it's amazing, because it's so quick and fast. It helps teach the lesson about the Mr. X. And
absolutely.
He's a great example for that. We love all kinds of comedy over here too. And I would say to anyone listening, either is taking our class or somebody else's comedy class, or is thinking about a career in stand up, even as their side chick, that when you're going into these different rooms and you're working with different producers and they say they want a clean set or they'd like a PG-13 set, just ask and get clarification. Whenever you are not sure, they would prefer you ask so that you're on the same page than to assume and not be on the same page, because that can cause another series of problems that you do not want to have. So,
please listen and adhere to the guidelines of that room.
Yes.
Because I think the worst thing a person can say, and this is my opinion only, is you say no cursing on the show, and they curse anyway. But like, Dawn, I'm sorry, that's just one curse word. I'm sorry, Dawn, you don't want me to curse. Come on, you wanted to say it anyway, and then don't do that.
Don't do that.
No, that's a no. If they say no cursing, just whatever you had, just rewrite it. If you can't do it, be true to yourself. Like, you know what? I have a lane. I'm sorry. I like you as a person, but I can't do you wrong because I need to say these things. And that's okay. But just know your limitations.
Know your limitations, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do. Knowing yourself helps you find your comedy voice quicker. I would say. You agree?
And I agree, and I know you probably teaching this. Know your time.
Oh my goodness!
Know how much time you can do.
Yes.
If you somebody say, can you come through 15 minutes, and you only got a good 5, or you only have 5 minutes, don't take it. Don't take it. I know earlier in the game, people would ask me. Now I'm up to 45, 50 now. But people say, hey, people would say, can you do 40 minutes and I'll pay you? I would tell them, no, I can do 20. And if you would still hire me, I can still do 20. And then I know other comedians that can come along to fill the rest of the show.
Yes.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I don't want to go anywhere and say, yeah, I could do an hour and a half and only do 30. And you're like, but see, the thing is, people don't understand bookers and private invitations are two different things. Private invitation, if they say, hey, you got 30 minutes and you only got 15, and then you get up there at the wedding reception or whatever and kind of BS your way through until you did the 30 minutes, they just gonna be happy you did entertainment. But and they will book you again if you're funny.
Yeah.
But a booker, they will see through the BS, and they like, this dude or this female, this young lady ain't got 30 minutes. She only got 10. I'm not booking her again or him again. And so you got to know your time, and it's okay to not. If you're not at a certain point, if you don't have 30 minutes or 40, if you only got 10, get that 10, get booked off that 10, and then
it will
and then
grow. It will grow.
and it will
Yep.
grow, and you will get work, and people won't give you a bad name. But if I trust me, I hear it all. I hear it. I'm not gonna say this person's name, but I actually, one of parole officers, we were talking. Not to say this guy is in jail or nothing, but at my job, I deal with parole officers, and we got to talking about comedy. And he actually went to see somebody, and I knew this person. And he was like, "Oh, that's why." And he was like, "That's why I don't want. That's why I don't like comedy. I'm not ever going to another comedy show unless it's a professional." And I was like, "Yeah." So this person apparently said that they had this much time, and they didn't. They kind of joked the whole room, and they did quite a few other things instead of telling the jokes, instead of doing material. They just talked throughout the set, and it didn't look good. So so anytime people would come up to me, yeah, man, I can do 45 minutes, and then I know you only been in the game less than a year. I'm just like, nah,
Yeah.
you ain't got it.
No.
I did a workshop with Godfrey several years ago.
Really? That's
that
an
was
experience, I bet.
Yeah, that was I'd have been about year 4. It was at the Funny Bone, because they used to do a bunch of workshops. Anytime somebody come in, Chris Titus did one.
Oh,
I don't know if they even.
Yeah.
I don't know if they even do it anymore. Godfrey did one, and he was like, he said the years of comedy is your age in comedy, and so if you've been in the game less than a year, then you're an infant in comedy. If you've been in comedy a year, you're only a year old in comedy. It takes many years to get to a certain. And people's, man, how you gonna tell us that? You ain't tell me I'm not going. It's true.
It's true.
It's true. Like, I'm looking at it now. Like, I'm year 12, and I'm looking at it like, man, like when I first started, that first 5 was like, what can I say in 5 minutes? I mean, that's a long time.
Right. Now it's like, what am I going to say in 5? What 5 minutes am I going to pick? That's what it is.
What 5 minutes I'm going to pick? And I remember when I did my first 30, I did it for it was a military thing, appreciation thing out Petersburg. And I felt every minute of it. I felt every minute. I got to like 15, and I was like, I'm almost done. And I looked at, I didn't know I was at 15. I was like, I'm almost at 30. I looked at my time, and it was like 15. I was like, God dang, I got 15 more minutes. So I struggled. I got through it, man. And they actually liked it. And I just felt, when I listened to my recording, I could tell, like, I finally made it. It was just like, okay, cool. I'm here. Now I got to just be consistent with 30. Now, when I get hired to do 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm already getting a light at the 19 minute mark. Like, okay, it's 19 minutes. I just started.
Yeah, that's what it feels like the longer you do it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love, and that means you having a good time up there. It means that you're not struggling for your time, because you know how much time you can do. You know, so just this, and I'm quite sure you were teaching that in your class. Just let's know your time.
And be respectful of the light, and be respectful of the time you're been given. Because
don't run the light.
Don't run the light. You want to be able to. You want to build connections and authentic relationships too. And I as a, I perform, but also as a booker, I appreciate the audience, honesty. So if I just had this happen this week. There's a very skilled, a very skilled comedian in the Charlottesville area, and I think she can do PG-13, but I haven't seen her do it yet. So I just reached out and said, hey, first checking to see if she would even want to consider it. Would you be interested in doing PG-13 comedy? And if so, let me know. She said, absolutely. So I sent a message back. How many solid, clean to PG-13 minutes do you think you can do? And she wrote back and said, to be honest with you, I would feel safe saying 5 minutes. And I felt like that was the most honest thing she could actually say, which is prompting me to give her her first spot at 5 minutes.
At 5 minutes.
Because I know based on her answer, she's going to treat that very professionally. And, right. And she's going to do a great job. And that will launch a new skill set for her.
Absolutely. And also you got to make sure on and off stage that you remain professional. A lot of times people get to the room or the club or the bar or wherever and either run late and, run right up into their time. Oh, I thank you. Okay, I'm, all frantic. Get there on time. Get there with, if you got an hour time to get there at least an hour, half hour ahead of time. I prefer an hour because I want to know where I'm going. Even if I know where I'm going, you don't know the traffic. And I don't want, the worst thing for me is to get somewhere and I have to scramble. Because even though I'm going over my material, when I get there, usually when you get to the location, you start to read the room. Like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, you notice things. You notice right off the bat. Yeah.
Or there's things that you can use. You can see a lady with a big flag and you're like, oh, okay. I see all the Patriots in here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you want to get there and also make whoever the booking you realize, okay, he or she is professional because they get there ahead of time. Don't talk about the room. Don't bash the room. And then when you get off stage, make sure you still maintain that professionalism. If you at a bar or a club, make sure you tip the wait staff. Don't be a jerk to the wait staff. It's so many
small things.
Levels.
Yes.
Yeah, it's more than just doing your time, whether it's 5 or an hour. It's an all around professional situation because that's how we eat. So you want the referral, It's like a salesman. Yeah. You want the referral.
And you want the booker to want to have you back. And the more professional and kind you are, and of course funny, most importantly, the more reasons you're giving that booker to bring you back. And I would add to that one sweet move that I have watched very professional headliners do that just relaxes a booker like you would not believe is the morning of or a few hours before they're sending you a quick text. Hey, I'm already here. I'm in my room, or they just let you know that they're there and they're excited about the evening. That goes a long way. And you make a mental note in your head as a booker, which headliners do that. And so if you're going to do 30 or more minutes, that's a big chunk of the show. It is very reassuring to the booker to know that you are in town and you will be there.
I am here. I'm in the building. As a matter of fact, I'm talking to you right now. Can't you see me?
And I thought before I started headlining and I was, booking, helping myself grow, I noticed that early and I made mental note. I'm going to make mental note of this and make sure that this becomes a habit of mine in the future as I'm working with bookers that aren't me, putting me on their shows. Yeah. It's a big tip.
For sure.
So I love that.
Yeah. I'm quite sure your class is the bomb.
The what?
The bomb. The bomb. Don't be careful saying that around airports. But you're quite sure your workshops are definitely a good thing because you have a wealth of knowledge as far as the performance and the business side. So to be able to teach all of that and people see you working, that helps them work as well.
Yeah, we're even talking about to start offering some comedy business workshops between the Charlottesville scene and the Harrisonburg scene. That's starting to synergize more because of this opportunity at Massanutten Resort's new comedy club. And we're really excited about all of what that means, not just for the more local scenes, but for the regional and national touring acts also. So we're super excited that you're coming in.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. What can we expect? What can the audiences expect when you come on June 26th or any time that they see you perform? In case they're somewhere else on June 26th and can't be there. Yeah.
You can expect that I'm not going to bring these nets with me. I'm not these nets. I'm not going to be like Pigpen when you're seeing the. I know I look taller on the video, so I'm not tall. I'm 5'5", so that's they expect 5. No, just expect a fun night of laughter and enjoyment, outside of the box kind of guy who's relatable, who has three kids, not just boys. I don't have boys. I have all girls. And I do have funnier. I have one boy, and that's a dog. He's a Jack Russell, and sometimes he don't even listen to me. So it's just like, so with being married, this year will be 23 years, and with 3 beautiful girls, I have a lot to talk about. I've been in the classroom. It's just a lot. There's a lot to talk about. Just a fun night. It's going to be a fun night, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
I am too. I will tell you, laughers, one of the things I love about Lamont FERG Ferguson the most is his huge, gigantic heart and jovial spirit. It just bleeds through the entire time he's up there. And much like I have a We Are Family vibe, Lamont does too. Mm-hmm. We actually had done several shows together. Yes. Just been on a little hiatus the last couple of years because we had taken some different direction in what we were doing. We wanted to add to the roster over the last couple of years. And what we're excited about now is we're in this new era where we can bring the early comics we would have in with the comics that have come on board in the last couple of years, and now just grow this huge, gigantic family. And if you come to our shows, we tell you FWAF stands for Funny Womack and Friends, and that the and Friends, the AF, is all the people that come to the show and the comedians that perform on our stage. So we'll see all you AFers at the June 26th show. Before we get out of here. See you all. That's right. And before we get out of here, we're going to play a quick game with Lamont before we let him go. So we got this game for you, Lamont, today. Are you ready for this?
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, this is
I don't know.
I know, we'll see. This is true or false. That's a real thing. That's the name of the game. So
okay,
that's the name of the game. I'm going to throw out 3 facts to you, and you are going to tell me if they are true or not, or total nonsense.
Right. Let me see what you're talking about.
Okay.
Let me see.
Fact 1 is the Detroit edition.
Okay. All right.
The fact is, Detroit has a statue of RoboCop funded by a Kickstarter campaign.
I haven't heard about that. This is new to me. On that one, I'm not sure. I know. No, I'm not sure. It's possible. Okay. It's definitely possible. You look. The net landed on me. He was trying to tell me the answer. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know.
So you get 50-50 chance you'll get it right. You're going with true or false?
Let me see. I know a lot of Detroiters be outside the box. I'm gonna go with true. I'm gonna go with true. RoboCop was the thing back in the day. I'm gonna go with true. Somebody probably did it.
All right, I need a buzzer or something because yay! You got that correct.
That's from our white Detroiters.
He gave a thumbs up for those on audio. Both thumbs, by the way.
I don't know. Too many brothers will put up a RoboCop. They're already running from cops as it is. And why do I want to see this RoboCop? No, let me stop.
So the truth is, in 2011, fans raised over $67,000 on a Kickstarter campaign to build a 10-foot tall statue of RoboCop. It was finally completed and unveiled in 2022 because Detroit.
It's Detroit. And also, they've been actually shooting a lot of movies there. Michigan actually started to get a big film incentive. So that's when they fund a lot of the big time projects. So, yeah, that's possible. Yeah, well, I'm glad I guessed it.
Okay, so you're 1 for 1. Here's the second one. This is Virginia weirdness is the topic. The fact is, there's a town in Virginia called Bumpass.
A who?
Listen, this is not a town. This is a town, not a cuss word. I am pronouncing it as it is.
Oh, yes, it is true.
Bumpass. Maybe I'm saying it wrong the way they would say it.
Hold on.
Because, Stanton has a U-N in it, and we say Stanton, and other people that aren't from here will say Stanton. So I could be pronouncing it wrong.
I'm gonna go with yes because you have Dumfries.
Yeah.
So it looked like Dumfries. I would say yes. I would say yes.
Good. I gave you a good hint there. So you are correct.
Yes.
Oh, yay!
Yes. Yeah. These little gnats telling me all the answers. I appreciate it.
Yes, the Nats, and you are correct. It is a real place in Louisa County, and it was named after a man called John T. Bumpass. With this fact, well, the comedy just writes itself.
Absolutely.
So remember that if you ever do a comedy show in Louisa County, you can have fun with that. So giving you future comedy material. So now you're 2 for 2. That. You are welcome. Now this third and final fact. The topic is Comedy Club Mayhem Edition. The fact, as stated, in 2019, a heckler at a comedy club in Richmond tried to pay the comedian mid-set to stop telling jokes.
Wow. So am I saying, is that a fact?
Yes, you're deciding if that's true or false.
Oh. See, being that I've been around, I've been wanting to do that myself. But I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna go with the latter. I'm gonna say no.
Oh,
I don't believe it.
And you know what? You are correct. It is false. You are 3 for 3, and this is the first time we've played true or false. That's a real thing. Our first time, and you knocked it out of the park. 100% grade for you today. Bravo.
All right.
I will
maybe get some free eggs.
That's right. I'll get you a free meal and a drink when you come on. 26.
Make sure I get my Chick-fil-A coupon for Sundays only, so I can go in the parking lot and just sit there till they open on Monday.
Yeah, that's what we'll plan.
Yeah, I'll be ready. I'm waiting for my chicken sandwich.
Yes, you are correct. That one was made up, but maybe it almost happened somewhere. We don't know. So.
There's a lot of stuff happening out here these days.
That's true. I'm so proud of you. That did really great. So as we wrap up here, before we get out and close the show, how can the Laughers follow you on social media or otherwise to connect with you?
Besides 7-Eleven feeding my face, you can find me on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. So Instagram and TikTok is Comedy by Ferg. Facebook is I am Ferg 5. Those are the main. I'm on YouTube as well, so you can just type my name in. Now there's 2 Lamont Fergusons, but
that's right.
The one that looks like me, that's me. That's how you decide between the 2. We're both brown people, but the one that looked like me, like when you look at this video, look at me.
When you look at the other Lamont, you know. In fact, I was doing a quick Google search because I was like, okay, I got to do an intro for Lamont. I know Lamont. I could look up his bio, but let me see what else is out there. And he was the other Lamont Ferguson was the first one to pop up. It's so funny you would say that because I popped open the video and I went, that's not Lamont.
No, that's not me.
He
does good work. I'm just saying, he does good work.
He does.
But yeah. Yeah. The one that looks like me, that's me. Okay.
That's him. So look the Lamont FERG Ferguson up and connect with him. And thank you so much for joining us today, Lamont. It's truly been a pleasure to learn more about your story, your journey, your insights on comedy. And thank you so much for playing the game with us. That was super fun.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been real. You guys have a great evening or day or whatever time you're watching this video. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And then come
or
see
listening,
him.
Or listening.
Or listening.
Or listening.
That's right.
Or
listening. Be watching.
And then when you come see me, we get to talk some more.
That's right. And see what kind of questions.
Look, mine is the Nets.
He will leave the Nets in Virginia Beach, and he will come bring his amazing, hilarious self to us on June 26th. So come see that. We'll put the show or the ticket link in the show notes for you as well, so you can grab tickets there. And also, thank you, Laughers, for tuning in today. I love you so much. I appreciate you so much. We keep growing. I can't, you're blowing me away right now. So thank you for being a part of the fold. You are also an AFer because you're supporting an aspect of what we do. So thank you, AFers, for listening today. If you liked it, please share it with a friend, tell someone. We want to get this content out as far reaching as possible, especially with the tweaks coming. I'm so excited about. You're all going to love it. Remember, you can get your free audiobook when you click the link in the show notes. And when you sign up for a free trial, we'll get a little kickback to keep growing the show. And I appreciate you all for that too. And lastly, and most importantly, thanks for tuning in, Laughers, at all the podcasts out there. You picked us, and we think that's pretty darn special, just like you. Until next time, keep smiling. Bye.
Bye. I'm waving, just so y'all know. I'm waving.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by the Funny Womax and Friends. We'll be dropping a new podcast every Wednesday, so check back for another uplifting episode. Come to a FWAF show or let us bring one to you. To find out more, head to thefunnywomax.com. Be sure to share this podcast with a friend, and until next time, cheers.